Hello, faithful viewers. Thanks for sticking with us. Last week I made a vow I wasn't going to keep saying, welcome back. So I'm trying a little different intros there. And for those of you who just tuned in, I'm with Stephanie Forbes, and she is with the I almost said Adelson, the Nathan Adelson Hospice. She gave us a little background about, and so proud Las Vegas. It was the second hospice in the nation in the 70s to be built, correct? Right here in Las Vegas. And sponsored by some of our founding families, which is really nice. This isn't really such a negative subject. I know a little people, when you talk about hospice and everything, we kind of cleared that up. This is more to help people who are walking that final walk to end their lives as peacefully and surrounded by love as they can.
Absolutely.
Well, you have the upcoming, and every year, this is your 17th annual wine extravaganza, wine tasting, and that has it been at Gaudin Ford? Is it the Ford one on?
No, it's Gaudin. It's always been at Gaudin Jaguar Porsche, which was over on Sahara. Now, last year they built a new Porsche dealership, which is next to Ford, over on 215 in Rainbow.
Well, there's a big difference between a Ford and Jaguar. I know that. Wait, Ford bought Jaguar, I think, but it's all good.
Yeah, so the Porsche dealership hosts it every year.
Yay!
Gary Ackerman and his team.
Wow, nice. What a nice environment.
It is.
And the beneficiaries of this are you have a pediatric.
Yeah, so there's two beneficiaries of the wine and food tasting. So our pediatric hospice program and our families in need program. So when the wine tasting started 17 years ago, hospice and children didn't quite fit together.
And they still don't. It's a necessity.
Right, it is absolutely a necessity.
Unfortunately.
And years ago, insurance companies, even Medicaid, hospice children don't need hospice. That was kind of their thought process. And so it wasn't covered, really. Or it was covered, but a shower chair that is $30 for an adult was $300 for a child.
Holy.
Right. So,
whatever.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
And so we started a pediatric with the fundraiser for the pediatric hospice so that we could put money aside specifically to help those families get the shower chairs, get the supplies they needed for their child who was dying, or they necessarily don't have a diagnosis of 6 months or less, but they usually have some life-limiting illness that
like I said, women of courage and dedication.
It's very hard.
I'm
very hard. When I started 7 years ago, we had a baby who was about the same age as my son, and if it wasn't for Laura Coleman, who's been our chairwoman and a
who
volunteer,
would be here today, but she's on a little excursion.
Right. She took me to see this family, and I wanted to quit because I had a 9-month-old at home.
Oh,
and I couldn't. These families needed to be raising this money. So the pediatric program is very near and dear to my heart. But then the other side is our families in need program. So as the insurance companies realize that hospice and pediatrics do go together,
unfortunately, but it is a fact.
They started funding it and paying for it more. And so the need for us to raise money for pediatric hospice kind of leveled out, and so we realized the bigger need was our families in need program. And so what that is it's a program where we have families who a husband gets sick, a husband and wife are working and they have a family, and the husband gets sick, and so the wife stops working so she can care for her husband, and before you know it, their savings is gone, and they have no place, and they can't make their rent payment, or they can't make their mortgage payment, or they can't buy groceries,
or feed their kids,
right. And so the Families in Need program was designed to help those families, and so our social workers, they identify that there's a family who has a need, and then they call me, and we have a process that we go through where we ask lots of questions to make sure that they meet the right criteria, and then we fund. Most times we'll fund the request, and it's groceries, it's rent, it's clothes, it's school supplies. As a matter of fact, we're doing our school supply drive now, getting ready for the school year for our patients and their families. Sometimes it's just clothing or shoes or power bill, water bill. Anything like that.
Right, something to help take the burden off. It could be a car payment. I mean, seriously.
Yeah. Right, it's just whatever we can do to help those families at that that at that time when they're at the most stressful time of their lives.
So you have quite a few different levels within the organization. I mean,
Yeah.
what started out as helping people, go through a dark passage, it turned into then you saw more of a need in the community.
It absolutely is. There's the latest number I heard was 48 hospices in the Valley.
Oh,
and
goodness.
But Nathan Adelson is the only nonprofit hospice. All the others are for-profit.
I see.
Yeah.
Right.
So that's
Well,
what makes us different.
of
We do
course.
things. We have several programs that are funded strictly through the foundation because it's the right thing to do, like the Families in Need program.
Interesting. And again, that's separate from the children, the pediatric children.
But a lot of times it's our families who have those children, our peds children, who need the families and need the most. Mom isn't working or dad isn't working, and they're the ones who need the help the most.
Well, they would like to be with their child, I'm
Exactly.
sure, 24/7 and not
Exactly.
have to worry about. And I'm sure
Exactly.
they have a lot of. We like to think that the workplace would help contribute, but you never know how
Right.
that's going to go. So,
Right.
the wine extravaganza then was initiated for these two specific offshoots,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
17 years.
17 years ago.
You've been doing it,
Yeah.
and it's a wonderful event.
It is.
And you have a lot of contributors as far as for the wines and the food. And of course, thank you to the Gaudin Jaguar for supplying the venue all these years.
Yep.
So how can we, the public, help, or what kind of sponsorship packages do you have to offer?
Yeah, we always need sponsors, people who want
course.
to, corporations,
So why?
right?
Yeah, we all need sponsors.
Right, corporations who want to give back and support the event. And I like to think of it more as a marketing opportunity than just like a feel-good community outreach thing.
Sure.
When you sponsor, you get the opportunity to have your logo out there, tickets to the event, ads in our program, and we've recently, in the last couple of years, started doing mobile bidding. And so we partner with this company, GiftSmart, and so we're able to put sponsor logos with your link to a website on everybody's mobile device when they check in, or even if they're not there. And they're bidding. And then, that's the other thing with our auction. We're always in need of people who can donate auction items, great packages and things that we can auction off at the event.
So that's always an interesting thing when it comes to the auction. And when we met, we talked about this a little bit. And again, a big shout out to Yvette Sandoval for introducing us.
Absolutely.
Because always, it's funny, I run a Nathan Adelson Hospice commercial on my show, gratis, of course. It's supplied but it's, I'll do anything I can for St. Jude's. We have to draw a line somewhere, so you and St. Jude's are my favorite that I
Thank
feel.
you.
Otherwise, I contribute to everybody and I'd be homeless, and I don't want that.
Right.
So, so the sponsorships, and another interesting thing is like when you're talking about and how you could get your product out there, your company, while you're doing a wonderful thing for a very, very worthwhile nonprofit. With social media has changed. I mean, it must have changed and skewed your whole way of marketing.
Absolutely.
Has it made it easier once you?
Yeah, it has. It has. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all those things. And then with GiveSmart, I mean, you don't have to be at the event. You can be across the country, across the world, and be able to bid on items because it's all mobile.
That's amazing.
It's
and
great.
That must open a lot of doors.
It's an area where I think we could do better. I'd love to see more people get involved who are not in the community, but who maybe are coming to Las Vegas and want to golf. And, we get some tremendous golf packages. And being able to buy that package and be able to have a golf outing and support the hospice instead of just going to the golf course and buying it there.
How many people did you have at the last event?
Oh, geez, we have close to 600.
Ah, very nice.
Yeah, it's a very, very packed place.
Well, it just becomes more and more popular
It
each year. And how can people turn down wine? And of course, you have the little food samplings.
From a lot of restaurants here in
right,
town.
and I'm sure a lot of the restaurants and some of the major beverage suppliers are contributors, I would imagine.
So Johnson Brothers is our wine sponsor.
You just got a shout out.
Yes. And then, my gosh, there's so many restaurants. There's Joe's, Stone Crab, Caesar's, P.F.
Caesar's,
Chang's, and Crazy Pita across the way here.
Everybody loves.
Yeah, Crazy Pita. Everybody loves Medi.
Yes.
And then we have Be With a Twist Catering.
So people get to sample
Oh,
all
yeah.
the wares
Ferraro's.
Ferraro's.
Yeah,
Oh,
there's a
I've
lot of
been
great
to all these
restaurants.
places. I'm feeling pretty cosmopolitan right now.
Yeah.
Time flies. We'll be right back. Don't go away. We're going to talk about how you can help. More details about the event. Quick shout out to the Red Roof Inn on Paradise across from the Hard Rock Hotel. We'll see you in about 5 minutes. Stay with us.